All right, friends, welcome. So for class today, you might want some blocks and a blanket. We're going to start off actually on our back, and hopefully that will be very nice for all of our bodies. And we'll do constructive rest pose. I'm going to try to do our best today to relax our groins and to clear, reset, and strengthen our psoas. Ooh, how wonderful. So constructive rest, feet wide, and let your knees and thigh bones angle in toward one another. And just bring your hands to your groin area. And I just want you to use your fingers to gently press into your groin, right? And as you do that, you can, feel into any tension, notice any tension, right? And then just let your hands relax down onto your belly and close the eyes and start to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. If it feels safe for you to let your eyes be closed as we open, go ahead and soften the eyes towards close, keeping the breath deep. Try to feel what happens in the body as you relax down more and more. Can you sense a dropping of your sacrum, relaxing down and widening of the low back? Can you sense your groins, your inner thigh attachment areas also relaxing down towards the earth? Going to bring your right leg in. Hold on to the shin with your right hand, or if it feels safe, try half happy baby's pose. Whichever shape you're choosing to do with the right leg, try to square off your hips and for a few moments just balance the back of the pelvis with the floor and then straighten the left leg. Now, you might not notice this, but for most people, when we're in this shape, the straight leg, it puffs up at the groin, right? So your left inner thigh, upper inner thigh, groin area might be puffing up. So I want you just to let your left hand rest on your groin and bring your right hand to the back of your right leg now instead of holding the shin of the foot. And with your right hand supporting the right leg, move the right leg away from your body until you feel a release of your left groin underneath your left hand. And then once you feel that release, start to play with the dynamic of how close you can get the right leg in without the left groin puffing up. And that's a lot of the relationship that we'll look at today is trying to keep the groin relaxing so that the low back can open. You can change legs. The half happy baby or half apanasana, holding the shin is apanasana, squaring the hips as best you can. And then maybe trying to straighten the right leg. Now the right hand can go to the groin and you can just sense it, right? Feel it. And then bring the left hand to the back of the left leg and let the left leg move away. And just like as if by magic, that right groin softens down, right? It's pretty nice. Your low back will start to release as well, okay? So try to bring the left leg as close in without letting the right groin puff up. Okay. And you might notice that you have one side that's a lot easier to do this on. Okay. And then you can bring both legs in, just do Apanasana or classical happy baby with both legs, a couple of breaths. Yeah, and then from here, downward facing dog pose. When you come to down dog, do wide legs, so feet out as wide as your mat. And you might take the feet closer in toward your hand so that it feels very spacious. After a couple of moments, once you feel kind of grounded, I want you to bend the knees, let your heels lift away from the floor a little bit, and play around with moving the front of your pelvis towards your inner thighs. Right? So feel how easy it is with the knees bent and the legs wide for you to tip your pelvis forward like that. And it's called anterior tilt of the pelvis. Now, all I want you to do is start to add an engagement in the outer hips. Just squeeze the outer hips in, and you're going to start to notice the pelvis come back to a nice neutral place. Once that happens, keep your inner thighs pushing back, but try to root your heels towards the floor. So inner thighs are going back, your pelvis, outer hip muscles are hugging in. The pelvis is neutral, the feet are grounded. Another breath. Now take the feet back to your normal down dog and try to recreate the alignments, right? Maybe bend the knees, let the pelvis tilt forward, right? That anterior tilt. And then squeeze the outer hips in, feel the pelvis kind of neutralize itself. Try to keep your inner thighs going back as you send the heels down. Absorb the ribs into the body. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog a couple times on the breath. High plank hold. Lift your right leg. Good. Now go too far. Lift your right leg so high that you dump into your low back, and that's too far. Instead of doing that today, I want you to lift your abdomen and squeeze your hips in. Send the tailbone down. Yeah. Cool. Change sides. So lift your left leg up. Go too far initially. Let your low back round too much, right? So it's extending too much. And then pull the abdomen up, squeeze the hips in, send the tailbone down. Yeah, good. Go ahead back. Classic high plank pose. Downward facing dog pose. Take your right leg up, move it around. Maybe lean into any areas that feel especially tight. And we're just going to do both sides back to back, so you can change legs anytime you want. Like get your whole pelvis, your low spine, the hip areas to move in with all of this stuff, okay? Come back into high plank pose. Without lifting a leg, lift your core, squeeze your hips in, and send your tailbone down. Yeah, so that's it. Chaturanga to the ground. Back bend. Lift your core to go to down dog. Then we're just going to walk our feet forward. Take your time, front of the mat. The floor is really far away. Grab your blocks and just put them beside your feet. You're going to breathe in, lengthen your spine. Breathe out, fold a couple of times just on the breath. Inhale, get long. Exhale, fold down. Inhale all the way up, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to the heart. Next breath in, arms up. Fold as you breathe out. Inhale, lengthen. Step your left leg back, low lunge. Reset your back leg, your pelvis, and your low back. Okay, so what I want you to try to do is feel the left groin and soften it. Roll the inner left thigh up to the sky. Good. Step back, down dog. Inhale, high plank, exhale to the floor. Lift your core. Inhale to your back bend. Down dog, lift your core. Breathe. 2 more breaths. Let's step the left foot forward. Low lunge. Pause. Breathe. Can you feel in the back leg the sense of the softening groin? Try to soften your right groin and roll the inner right thigh up to the sky. Yeah, good. Step forward as you breathe in. Hold as you breathe out. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Second time through, breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, fold down. Breathe in, lengthen. Let's do the right leg back. Low lunge. Good. Feel the back leg, soften the groin, lift the inner thigh. Feel the pelvis and the low back reset towards even, and then send the arms forward for 3 breaths. Try to keep the back leg nice and stable for you. Your hands are going to go down. You're going to step or flow down dog. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Step inside, okay, friends? So that's right foot forward. Yeah. Reset your back leg. Lift the inner thigh. Widen the low back. And then arms forward for 3 breaths. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold. All right, they're living poses, right? Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart, right? So we're just being in that process. One more time here. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. A little different. Inhale, lengthen. Step or flow to dog. When you get to dog this time, take your right leg high, bend and twist. As you exhale, bring the knee to the right armpit area. Try that just a few times. When you feel complete, place the right foot outside of your right hand, wide leg, low lunge. Come up onto your fingertips, and then walk the fingertips forward. Push down through your hands and root back into your hips. Try and stabilize. Lower down onto your forearms if you comfortably can. Notice how your back hip wants to droop. Keep levelizing that back leg. Keep stabilizing up through the hip. Make your way back, down dog, step or flow. Left leg. Bend, twist, and then a couple times knee towards the armpit. Wide leg, low lunge. Hands on fingertips, walk them forward. Staying here, maybe lowering down. You can lower onto your blocks if you want to. That back leg, right? We know it's going to want to droop down. Mine really wants to. To stabilize the inner thigh, lift it up, levelize the pelvis, reset your spine. Breathe in, breathe out. Low to dog. You might want your your blanket for this next little moment. Take your right leg high and bring it forward. Left knee down, Anjaneyasana. So initially have your hands on blocks or on the floor and let your pelvis go forward. So you're getting just a nice long stretch through the back thigh, through the hip flexor. And breathe into it. The back leg might want to slide off to one side. Do your best to keep it squaring off left to right. So the hips are still neutral. Stage 2, come upright in your chest. Arms can go overhead. Now, the way that I've been really enjoying working through this and through the psoas is to take my right arm and just have it be at my right side and squeeze it dynamically into the body. From my pelvis pushed down into both feet, but from the pelvis also lift up and side stretch across through the left arm, right? So my left arm is reaching up and over as my right arm is squeezing in and reaching down. You can come back upright, tuck the toes under, lift your back knee a little bit. Now notice the hips, keep them squared, and try to slowly straighten the back leg with the hips square. Take a couple of breaths, feel the full pose, right? It's a lot, isn't it? It's huge actions. So step or flow out when you need to, and we'll change sides. Left leg will come forward, the back knee will come down, and you get to hang out initially in Anjaneyasana, maybe with your blocks, okay? Try to keep squaring off the hips. Right? When the hip slides off, we tend to get a bit more into the adductor, which can feel really nice. But for today, for our work, I want you to try and keep the hips squared off. Maybe you stay here the whole time. Stage 2, you come more upright. Left arm at your side, right arm towards the sky. Squeeze the arms towards the midline. Push from your pelvis down into the feet and reach up and across through the right arm. Now, if you want, come back to neutral, tuck back toes, lift the back knee. Keep the inner back thigh moving back as you extend up and out of your psoas. Making your way out when you need to, stepping or flowing. Down dog. After your down dog, step or jump forward, front of the mat. Chair pose. Okay, so pay attention to the alignments of your legs. Pull your inner thighs back, push them down. Hug the outer hips in. Let the tailbone slide towards the earth. Yeah, I'm going to try and hold those alignments as we move through Surya B. Okay, so just the reminder, stabilize your thighs in and down. Hips squeeze toward one another. Tailbone anchors. Okay, breathe in, come up. Breathe out, fold down. Breathe in, lengthen. Step or flow to dog. Right leg for split, breathe in. Exhale, place the foot. Stabilize those alignments as you rise up. And then lower down, step or flow. Second side, left leg. High lunge or warrior one. Lowering, stepping, down dog. Really important, remember your pace might be different than mine. It might be different than it was yesterday. Look forward, breathe in. Step or jump, breathe out. Lengthen, breathe in. Fold, breathe out. Chair pose. Good. So I'm going to repeat that again. If you feel ready to add a little spice, I want you to focus on pulling your hamstrings up right? Adding more stability from the hamstrings to the inner and outer hips. While you do, outer hip squeeze in, tailbone down. Inhale, come out. Hands to the heart, pause. Breathe. Let's see if we can try it here. Let your knees bend a tiny bit. Get the inner thighs to move back, the hamstrings to tone up. Keep your feet stabilized. So squeeze your outer hips in, anchor the tailbone. Good. Let's flow. Just just trying to play with it, okay? Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Dog or floated dog. Right leg when you're ready. Breathe in. Take it up. Breathe out. Place the foot. Rise up. Breathe out. Lower down. You let yourself move slower if you need to. Second side. Feel the reset in your dog. Good enough. Lengthen and fold. Another deep breath or two in your forward fold. And then rise all the way up to stand. Tree pose. Stand on your left leg. Bring your right leg up. Try to just feel the stability of the hips. That's it. Breathing, stabilizing. Now, as we get better at feeling the stability of the hips, you might notice your standing leg, inner thigh engage quite a lot and root back. And you can even use this foot to help do that. Now, looking at the opposite leg, try to stabilize the low back of your opposite leg by turning the leg out just enough that you feel the low back engage and open. Not so far that you push the leg back and it starts to overly tighten. Yeah. To test all of this, you're going to hold the toe with your first two fingers or the outside of your foot with your hand and try to straighten the leg while maintaining the alignments. Now, when the standing leg groin puffs forward, that's the moment to pause, take a few steps back, and re-engage the standing leg groin back. Try to let that be the little test. Second side, okay, whenever you're ready. And you might just be working on establishing a steady tree today, and that's great. This is the fullest form with the foot all the way at the groin. You might do at the calf, or maybe even as low as the ankle, right? Or just above the ankle, really. Find stability in the standing leg. Broaden through the low back on the bent leg side. Stay here or holding the foot or the big toe, trying to get the leg to extend forward, right? And mine isn't even going all the way today. It's just not, right? And that's okay, right? I'm going to take care of my low back and keep the leg back so that my standing leg can ground. And then over time, I'll be able to open that top leg. Come back to the front of the mat, step or flow to down dog. Follow the movement of the breath. Right leg split. Bring the foot forward, warrior one or high lunge. And just take a couple of moments and try to piece it all together. And then you can open out to warrior two. Now, as you're in your warrior two, let's focus on the front leg a lot in this series. So just try to get grounded in that front leg and reverse warrior two. Nicely grounded in the front leg. Side angle pose, forearm to the thigh bone, top arm alongside the ear. I love this one because you can push your forearm down to the thigh bone to get a little more stability. And then from here, triangle pose. And you might grab your block and put it inside if you have tighter hips. Maybe you move your hand to the outside block, or maybe no block at all. Loaded down dog. And we'll do the second side. Left leg split, bring it forward. Warrior one. Steady that front leg all the way up to the hip and the glute, okay? And then warrior two. Reverse. Mindful of your front leg. Side angle. So warrior two, reverse warrior two and side angle, that front leg is all the same. Now triangle. Pepper flow through. We're gonna do both sides one more time. Pause in your down dog. Consider what we've been working on today. And it's perfectly fine for you to feel that overload of information and you just want to move. So just move and breathe and take care of yourself. If you feel like there's a specific aspect of the alignment that you're really locking in on today, I want you to try and bring that with you into the standing series as we go through it one more time. Okay? If nothing else, be mindful of your breath. Try to steady the front leg. Right foot forward. Warrior one. Strings glutes. Warrior two. Really at your own pace. Reverse. You might discover you need to kind of stay longer in one of the shapes. Side angle, if you want a little spice. Dvihasta, both arms forward. Triangle, right? Dvihasta can also be spicy here for you. Step or flow. We're trying for stability. Second side when you're ready. Go for even more stability and notice what occurs when you get it. Now, friends, once you've done both sides, we're going to come back to Anjaneyasana. So you can bring your right foot forward and take your left knee down. Now, you might have hands on blocks. We're trying to stretch our thighs. So we're going to be here for a little bit. Okay. Just let your pelvis go forward. The knee of your front leg move forward of the ankle joint. Now, if you want to try and take this up a notch, get a deeper thigh stretch, literally come upright, and that should deepen the thigh stretch for you. Yeah. And you can just hang out here with a deeper thigh stretch. Keep the angle. Stage three is to bring the back foot in towards the butt. And that same arm windmills back. You try and hold on to the foot. Maybe bringing it closer and closer towards your buttock. Yeah, the thigh stretch. These are poses that I desperately need in my life, even as intense and fiery as they are. So try to hold toward your threshold, right? Towards what feels safe, but also feels productive for you. And then whenever you want, you can change sides. Now, it's nice to pause in down dog between sides, feeling the difference. Or maybe I should say, I appreciate that. I find that helpful. Stage one, Anjaneya, just like we did earlier, hands are down, squaring off those hips, letting your pelvis go forward. Stage two, you come more upright. The thigh stretch deepens. And if you're like me, you're going to want to just open out. Try to keep those hips square, okay? Stage three, bring the back foot in, windmill back. And today in my body, it's really a lot of effort for me to keep the hips squaring. Back from my bunch of travel. So my body always feels a little different after travel. Easy release out. Keep your blocks nearby. Down dog. So right now I have my hands on blocks. That just works for me. It's not for everybody. I enjoy it in this transition. It feels like more spacious for my shoulders. We're gonna do pigeon. You can bring your right leg forward, lower down. We're gonna immediately use the blocks though. What I want you to try to do is to bring the block underneath your right thigh bone. Now, I often say this, there's a difference between putting the block underneath your hip, right? Boom, now it's under my hip versus the thigh bone. Now it's under my thigh bone. My hip is actually still open. I want you to try and support your thigh bone and lean forward. And you're going to stabilize the front of your body. So you're leaning forward, but I want you to lift your pubic bones up and feel your navel pull in. Okay? So not belly down, lift your pubic bones up, the front of your hips up towards the ribs, pull the navel in, breathe deeply. Now, if you want to work a little deeper, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee up, keep your abdomen engaging, and come more upright. So we only want to come as far upright in the pose as our back feels open and safe. Maybe you come so far up that you can take your arms to the sky and it still feels good for you, right? And that's cool. I'm going to step or flow. Down dog. I don't know about you, but my right leg feels very different than my left leg now, right? It's a whole different ball game. So let's try the second side. Go ahead and grab your block, put it underneath the left thigh bone, lean forward, breathe. Notice how, for many of us, the belly wants to drop. And instead of letting your belly drop, pull your abdomen into the body. And so the front of your hip points lift up, the ribs kind of tone down. You breathe into your back as it opens. More spice. Tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee. Keep the abdomen pulling in. Come more upright. And you just kind of feel out how far upright you can go while still feeling safe, right? Maybe that means arms up to the sky. Yeah. Step or flow. Make sure the blocks are at the front of your mat, okay? So remember, you can add on any kind of movement, any kind of vinyasa that you might want. You can step your right foot forward, grab your blocks, put them underneath your shoulders. So for me, that means the blocks generally line up, the end of the block lines up with the middle of my heel ankle area. Yeah, you figure out your body alignment, but make sure the blocks are helpful. And we're just going to hang out, grounding down into both feet. So you can gently at first push down into the feet, breathing. Ah. Now you might just stay here. What we're looking to feel is that groundedness from the legs up in the hips, unlocking the spine. Over time, that'll all start to make sense based off of the alignment work that we've done today. And you'll be able to safely bring your right hand to the right hip, low back area, and start to twist. You want to balance out your hips, right? You want to square off your pelvis and squeeze the outer hips in. Keep squeezing the outer hips in, and then maybe take your arms up to, or rather your right arm up to the sky, right? Ah. And we're just finalizing that awakening of our psoas right here. Nice strong engagement. Inhaling out when you're ready, stepping forward or back to change sides, right? Whatever works for you. If you're having a slightly tighter hip moment, stepping forward is usually easier. Second side, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. Now, I forgot to say this on the first side, but if when you're in the pose, it feels too narrow, just wiggle your back leg off to the side of the mat more so that you get wider in your foundation. And gradually, we'll figure out how to evenly distribute the weight through both legs. It'll start to make more sense. Try to get that even engagement all the way up into the pelvis, like we've done so much today. And notice the spine beginning to reset itself, getting longer. For me, it feels like my spine is kind of clearing itself. And then at that point, go for the twists. And I don't want you to think that it has to take long for all of these things to happen. That's not true. They can happen very quickly. It's just giving yourself permission for it to take as long as it needs to can be really important for us. Right? It's so easy to feel pressure to kind of move faster and get everything done quickly. And here I am trying to invite all of our bodies to figure out our own comfortable pace. You'll ease yourself out whenever you're ready. You can step or flow to downward facing dog pose. And then from here, you can step or jump onto your shins. Tuck your toes under and just sit back down on your heels. Make sure that the toes are spreading quite a lot. Yeah, great, perfect. This can be enough, right? You can stay here and excuse me, and enjoy quite a stretch through the feet, right? If you'd like to take it towards Ustrasana, come up, right, hands to the hips, and go ahead and wrap the back of the pelvis down. Lean into the pelvic stabilizers even more, your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings, and let the upper body open from there. Quads, glutes, hamstrings, nice and strong for you. Maybe taking the hands towards the feet, right? Ease yourself back up. Lower yourself down. Good. Go ahead and come and rest on your back, everybody. When you make it onto your back, bring your feet close into your hips, arms at your sides, rolling bridges. Go ahead and inhale, lift the pelvis up. Exhale, lower the pelvis down. Just try a couple of these, breathing in, coming up, breathing out, lowering down. And if you feel like what you'd rather do today is just restore, and your hips are up, grab one of your blocks and just snuggle it underneath your sacrum, the back of the pelvis, and let your body just relax. It's perfectly fine. It's a beautiful, natural, easy place to be, right? If you want something more active, go ahead. Stay in the shape. Round down through your left foot. Bring your right knee into your chest. And then try to extend the right leg towards the sky. Now focus on your left foot, ground your entire inner left thigh, your left foot pushing down, and let the low back widen as you extend the right leg to the sky. Bring the right leg down, stabilize both legs, and then start to shift the weight to the right. Especially focus on the inseam of your right foot as you send the left leg up. Roll the inner right thigh to the ground, towards the ground, and let the low back widen as you send the left leg higher. And then go ahead, come back to neutral. Try to steady yourself. I know it can be tricky. And then lower down. Nice and slow. Hands can go to your upper thighs and just very gently press. How about we try one more active bridge? Rising up when you're ready, stabilizing the feet, your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, right? Maybe coming into full wheel from here if you would like, placing your hands by your ears, rising up. Easing yourself down, come to constructive rest pose, feet wide, knees dropping in. Arms can rest on your body, or you can wrap your arms around your chest. Soften the eyes to close. Once more, guide the breath into the deep, deep low back. And take another breath. And then just change the wrap of the arms to the opposite arms on top. And then take another breath. Unwrap the arms. Take them to the sky. Bring the feet towards one another. And then just cross your right knee on top of your left knee. The knees are stacking now. And bring the legs into your chest. Hold on to your shins and flex your feet. Breathing here for a few moments. The feet flexing. If it feels safe for you to hold your feet, you can do that. Keep the legs crossed like this. But let's bring it into the twist. So release the hold, but shimmy your hips over to the right a little bit. And you're going to let your knees drop off to the left. Arms can go to cactus or to T shape. Keep your shoulders stabilized as you twist. Take another breath and then return to center. Uncrossing the legs, rebalancing your pelvis, feeling for a moment the effects of the twist. We'll go to the second side, friends. So cross your left knee on top. Go ahead and bring the legs in. Hold shins, flexing feet, or hold the outside edges of your feet. Ever so gently releasing the feet, shimmying the hips over to the left, and then going in for the twist, taking the legs across to the right. We go for another breath. And then back through center once more. Bring the legs in, hold your shins. Gently stretch the legs up to the sky. And if you have a tender low back, you're just going to slide your hands underneath your butt, palm downward facing. If you feel confident in the low back strength, then arms can be at your sides. Or for more challenge, you can send your arms over your ears. And slowly over the course of, I don't know, maybe moving toward like 8 breaths, lower the legs down, keeping them straight. And as you're doing it, try to engage your hamstrings, your quads, your glutes, and the outer hips, lengthening the tailbone in the direction of your heels. So just a slow, steady, long, lengthening movement toward the floor. When you get to the floor, open the legs, go a little wider than your hips. Stretch the arms nice and long overhead. We're just going to set ourselves up for Shavasana. And bring your body to any kind of a comfortable resting pose. Now, if you would rather do something else, if your body is longing in its warmth and its openness to try another few poses, great time to do it. Otherwise, you're just going to get comfortable and give yourself permission to drift naturally into the space of release. Softly becoming aware of the breath once more, feeling your body heavy on the ground, the hands, the feet, the back of your head, all resting. Give yourself permission to remain in Shavasana longer and longer today, allowing the therapy of the practice to continue to settle deeper and deeper into the tissue. And anytime you find that you're ready to close, you can come to a seated position, offer great thanks to your body, to these practices, to the community of yoga, and to the health of the planet. And with the deepest peace, bow to your own heart. Om Shanti. Namaste.